Our today's topic is Introduction to Arrhythmia. So, arrhythmia is a problem that is associated with the rate or rhythm of the heartbeat. During an arrhythmia, the heartbeat can be too fast or too slow or with an irregular rhythm. When the heartbeat too fast, the condition is called as tachycardia. When the heartbeat is too slow, the condition is called as bradycardia. This is a chart or table which showing the normal rhythm of the heart having 60 to 100 beats per minute. In condition like tachycardia, when the heartbeat increases, so the heartbeat per minute is above 100 beats per minute. And in case of bradycardia, when the heartbeat is slow, the heart beats at a rate of below 60 beats per minute. Now here are some types of abnormal heart rhythms. As we seen, the first one is a tachycardia. Here the heart rate is above 100 beats per minute. Now there are three subtypes of tachycardia. First one is called as supraventricular tachycardia. The supraventricular means this type of tachycardia or arrhythmia occurs in the upper chamber of the heart, and as you all are well known that the upper chambers of the heart are known as the atria. So the supraventricular tachycardia occurs in the atria. The next subtype is ventricular tachycardia. This name indicates that this kind of tachycardia is associated with the ventricles. Now the third subtype is sinus tachycardia. It is a normal increase in the heart rate that is associated when you are sick or the excited. We can see that whenever we are excited or we are unhappy or we are very sad or we are in some emotional conditions, the heartbeat maybe gets increased, and these heartbeats may return to their normal pace once a person get better or become calm. So such kind of tachycardia or increase in the heart rate which occurs for a small period of time and associated with the particular condition is termed as sinus tachycardia. Next, move on to the next type. It is called as atrial fibrillation. The name indicates that this kind of arrhythmia occurs in the upper chamber of the heart, that is the atrium. In this case, the heart beats between 100 to 200 beats per minute. Now, the next subtype of arrhythmia is atrial flutter. So, this atrial flutter occurs only in the atrium and particularly in the right atrium. However, exceptionally, it may occur in the left atrium as well. The next kind of arrhythmia is bradycardia, where the heart rate is below 60 beats per minute. The next subtype is ventricular fibrillation. This occurs in the ventricles, and in fibrillation, the ventricles are unable to pump the blood out of the heart to body and the brain due to the irregularity in the heartbeat. This ventricular fibrillation is a serious condition and it may cause death if it is not treated immediately. The next type of arrhythmia is premature contraction. The heart appears to skip a beat in this condition. So, dear student, that is the types of arrhythmia. Now, here are some symptoms of abnormal heart rhythm. The first symptom is feeling faint, dizziness or light-headed. Second is shortness of the breath. Third one is irregular pulse or the heart palpitation. The next is chest pain. Fifth one is pale skin, and the sixth one is sweating. So whenever a person feels faint or dizziness or having shortness of the breath or irregular pulse or having a chest pain or sometimes a pale skin, or if a person is feeling sweaty, so these all symptoms may be associated with the arrhythmia. Next, move on to the causes of abnormal heart rhythm. The first cause of arrhythmia is coronary heart disease. We all know that the coronary artery is the one that supplies the oxygenated blood to the heart itself. So whenever there is blockage in the coronary artery due to cholesterol or some other fatty materials, the blood will not get supplied, and this may result into lack of oxygen, and ultimately it leads to the abnormality into the heartbeat. The second cause of arrhythmia is medication. There are some medication or substances which may produce the adverse effect of causing arrhythmia. So this may include caffeine and amphetamine. These drugs are the CNS stimulants. The beta blockers, which are used to reduce the high blood pressure, may do so with the adverse effect of lowering the heartbeats, and the beta blockers are also associated with this side effect of arrhythmia. Now the question arises that how the diagnosis of arrhythmia takes place. In most of the cases in clinics and hospitals, the patient suffering from arrhythmia has to undergo a electrocardiogram machine, that is for taking its or the patient's electrocardiogram. It is a strip like this which record the electrical impulses of polarization and depolarization taking place in the heart muscular cells. So this is the electrocardiogram of a normal person. Here we can see that there are the squares and here are the peaks at regular intervals. So this peak is called as the R peak. So the distance between this R and R peak determine whether a person is suffering from arrhythmia or not. For this, we have to use the magic number 300. So 300 is divided by the number of large square between two RR intervals. So here is a RR interval and the number of squares are 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 300, the number 300 is divided by number 4. So it will gives us the 75 beats per minute, which is in the normal range. This is one of the small area taken from the previous electrocardiogram. Here we can see that this small curve is called as the P curve, is followed by a QRS complex, and it is then followed by a T curve. So dear students, please keep this point in mind that this P curve is due to contraction of the auricles. This QRS peak is due to contraction of the ventricles plus relaxation of the auricles. And this curve T is represents the relaxation of the ventricles. Now here is a graph which shows the action potential in ventricular cardiac muscle cell. This action potential represents the exchange of ions across the cell membrane during the process of depolarization and the repolarization. So whenever the sodium ions enter into the cell, there is sudden increase in the action potential, and the increase is from minus 90 to plus 20 millivolt. So this sudden increase is represented as phase 0, and this phase 0 is attributed to the entry of the sodium ions. The phase 0 is followed by phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3. The phase 1 is the phase where the sodium channels are get inactivated. At this phase, the sodium channels are get inactivated while some chloride ions are entering inside the cell along with the sodium ions. The phase 2 is called as the activation of calcium channels. Here means at phase 2, the calcium ions are get ready or entering into the cell through the calcium channels. At phase 3, the calcium channels are get deactivated. This is shown by a decrease in the action potential, and at this stage, after phase 3, there is a phase 4 where the action potential restored to its previous starting conditions. So dear student, that is all about the introduction of arrhythmia and some important points. Thanks for watching the video. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.